you really only get one life. And like the thing that I think about all the time is I never want to look back on my life and be like, dang, I wish I would have did this, or I wish I would have bet on myself, or I wish I just would have believed in myself a little bit more and I could have did XYZ.
Hey queens, yeah, you know who you are. God, come on, go ahead and put that crown on your head. Now tilt a little to the left, now a little to the right. Perfect. Now let's get to work, because we know you got big goals and you got big dreams and not afraid to let them know. Why? Because you step into your purpose, you speak out on your faith, and you shift up in your journey, because you a boss. Welcome to the podcast Drop the Expiring Act with your host Veli of QueenBayGoals.com, reminding you that you are a queen before anything else. It's your life and your goals. Make it royal. All right, y'all. Go ahead and work that crown. All right. Welcome, Queen Bays, to another episode of the Drop the Aspiring Act podcast. Today, we are talking with Bree Johnson about dropping fear for fulfillment. So, Bree, give us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. So my name is Bree Johnson, and I am a digital marketing strategist and web designer. And I specifically help women entrepreneurs transform their mindset, money, and mental health through books, blogs, and business strategies. I kind of like to call myself like a serial connector of women because I also am the founder of TBJ Digital Consulting, where we help women-led businesses convert followers to customers through profitable digital marketing campaigns. And my ultimate goal is to help over 1 million women own businesses in my lifetime. Most recently, I co-launched the Business Bestie Book Club to bring together a community of women every month to read books that cultivate like our personal and our professional development. And I also have a weekly blog and YouTube for the ambitious millennial woman, where I talk about my brands, books, beauty, business, balance, and more. So that's a little bit about me.
But I love it. So is this B because you like said business, books, brand? Like, is that on purpose with all of the B's?
Kind of. Yeah, I think it happened naturally, and then I was like, "Oh, this is cool," and right. I kind of went with it.
I love it. It's perfect. It's perfect for your brand. So when I was reading your intake form, you said you were aspiring for 6 years before you took the plunge. So tell me what was going on in that 6 years.
Yes. So back in 2014, when I was in my master's program, I started a blog back then in 2014 called The Life and Times of Bree. And it was just supposed to be like kind of like the digital version of Sex and the City. Like I just really wanted to like share stories about my life and like what I was doing, what was going on, how I was kind of navigating adulthood. And then that kind of, I learned all these skills while building my blog, and I was going to school at the time for marketing and advertising communications. And so I took all those skills and I just started helping pretty much other women entrepreneurs like elevate their brand, because I have this weird thing where I will like look at stuff and I'm like, oh, you could do this so much better if you just did, you know, and so then, helping, yeah. And so then that eventually it turned into my business now, which is TBJ Digital Consulting. And so I never wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Wow.
Like full time. No, I just wanted to like have my side hustle, and I wanted to be like the chief marketing officer for Target. I was like afraid of entrepreneurship because growing up, my dad was an entrepreneur and it just seemed so hard. Oh, wow. And I was like, I want to use my skills, but I don't know if I want to, you know, be reliant on that for money. And then after I started it, I just became addicted, and I was like, I can do this better. Right. I know I can do this better. And so every time I would get a new job, I would kind of put my business on the back burner. And when I came to Atlanta, I worked full-time as a digital director. So I put my business on the back burner while I ran like this national campaign. And then when the campaign was over, I just realized I was so unhappy. So I brought my business back. And from there, I just it kind of like took off. It was very strange. But it kind of felt like God was like, this is what you should be doing. This is what I told you to do. So
Girl,
it just evolved from there.
I get it. And when you're not listening to him, sometimes he just gives you that push, because he did that to me in 2016. He's like, you're not listening. This is not what I told you were supposed to be doing. So I get it.
Yes.
Totally get it. It's interesting that you say your dad was an entrepreneur and you're like, I don't want to go that route. Because most people who have parents or somebody in their family who are entrepreneurs, they're like, okay, yeah, I want to do that too. But yours was the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, so I've been starting businesses since I could talk. Like, I remember being 6 or something, and I wanted to start like a newspaper. I remember, my dad buying me like a Palm Pilot for Christmas, and me walking around like I was some type of boss baby. I don't really know. But I always knew that was like a part of me and like who I was, and it would be a part of my story. But I also really, really liked the security of a job.
Right.
Like, I liked in the past, because I don't do it anymore, but I liked, getting my check every 2 weeks and knowing that I could pay my bills and not having to worry about lead generation and all of these things. It felt easier, but it wasn't as fulfilling. Like, it didn't make me happy. So yeah.
So what would you say to those people who still have that fear? Like, do I really want to go take this plunge? I'm like used to a paycheck coming in every week. Can I go be an entrepreneur? Like, what do you say to those people?
I say do it. So like, but I also feel like you'll know when it's the right time for you to do it. Like when I quit my job, I was able to double my income in less than 30 days.
That's awesome.
But I feel like that was because I had been putting in the work for 6 years, like silently. So it wasn't like I had an idea and I was like, I'm going to start a business. And then 2 weeks later, I quit my job and went full time, like that's not what happened. But I do think that you really only get one life. And like the thing that I think about all the time is I never want to look back on my life and be like, dang, I wish I would have did this, or I wish I would have bet on myself, or I wish I just would have believed in myself a little bit more and I could have did X, Y, Z. And I never want to be envious of someone else's life because I'm too scared to live my own. And so I think that from that perspective, if you want to do something like reasonably, you should do it. Like, you should figure out how to do it. And I think that with technology, like, you can make anything happen that you want to happen. So, I just would encourage you, like, the thing that I always think about is, like, if I had a daughter, what would I tell her? Like, would I tell her, nah, baby, stay at that job and collect that check? Or would I be like, you better go out here and live your wildest dreams? I would tell her the latter. So that's what I have to tell myself as well.
So how can our listeners work with you? Like, how can they find you?
Yeah, so I am on all social media at the Bree Johnson. So TheBree Johnson. If you want to work with me, I'm launching Accelerator in September. It'll be a 12-week group coaching program to help women entrepreneurs create profitable marketing campaigns to launch and market their signature service offering or course. But I also have like VIP days. I have digital brand audits. So you can always work with me there. And those services are on my social media and my website, TBJ Digital Consulting. We have a monthly book club, me and my business bestie.
That's cool.
So yes, it's a virtual book club. We meet bi-weekly and we read personal and professional development books. And so the link to that is also on my social media. And I would love, love, love for y'all to join me and to join us.
And I will include all of these links for you guys that are listening so that you guys can find her. So another question I'm just throwing in there, like, what books are you guys currently reading?
Yes, so last month we read Believe Bigger by Marshawn Evans Daniels. This month we are, yeah. It's a great book. I enjoyed it a lot. This month we are reading Uncloned by Audrea Richmond, and we're preparing to vote on September's book. And I am, just off on the side reading Untamed by Glennon Doyle. It's an excellent read. So
okay, well, I'll add that to my list, definitely.
Yeah, it's good.
So we always close out the podcast with a quote, and you gave a quote. Do you remember what your was? Okay, so I'm going to pull it up real quick. I have it right here. So yours was Proverbs 31:25. She is clothed in strength and dignity and laughs without fear of the future. So tell us why you chose that quote.
Yeah, so I actually have it tattooed.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes, I actually have it tattooed on my spine, which is wild. But I am a control freak. Like, I am always like, I need to know every plan from A to Z. I need to know every step. I need to know what we're doing. Like, I am not a person who you can take my hand blindly into a dark tunnel, because I need to know how many steps there are from the entrance to the exit. And so I always like not disliked it about myself, but it was always one of the things that I wanted to make better about myself. And so when I read that Bible verse, I was like, that's how I want to be. I just want to live my life without fear, without control. I just want to like walk in a room and exude like this like strong, confident, like secure woman. And so I started repeating it to myself like every day. And it definitely helps me in perspective when I'm like sitting in fear, to realize that like I have nothing to be afraid of. Like, I'm good. It's gonna be all great. Everything will work out for my good.
Right, and you're not gonna forget it because you got it tattooed on yourself.
Exactly.
It's always gonna be there.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast today. Guys, make sure that you check out Bree Johnson's website. All the links will be available for you. And make sure you check out her Accelerator Program that's happening in September. So do you do this Accelerator Program like every year or?
Yeah, so this is actually my first time launching it. I'm very excited. I'll be having a free masterclass on August 25th. To like lead into it, but this is actually my first time launching it, and my plan is to do it once every 3 months. To bring in a new cohort. So I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Oh, I am excited for you. Thank you for joining me on the podcast today. You guys, make sure you come back and listen to another episode. We have more great guests coming up for the rest of the season. You have been listening to another episode of Drop the Aspiring Act. If you're looking for more information on this podcast and other episodes, please visit queenbaygoals.com. That's